Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with this quarterfinal game. Thank you all for joining us here today. This is Lunets Empire versus... who is this against? This is Lunets Empire versus Luminous. This is not the same team that is Lunets Army that went into last week's tournament. This is a different tournament. We are told by Lunets Army that they decided not to enter this week so that Lunets Empire could go ahead and win. So always interesting to see some teams that are obviously fans of the stream. We had the first couple of bands coming out, Thresh, Twisted Fate, and Hecarim coming out, and who the hell is messaging me? This is Ponytail. Are you sure this is Ponytail? I'm pretty sure your brackets didn't update properly because I'm pretty sure... Oh, okay, so we're not on the live. This is... Wow, this is actually the semi-final match, guys. My apologies. This is Ponytail versus Lunets Empire. This is not Luminous. My apologies, guys. I thought we were on the quarterfinal match, not the semi-finals. Just ignore me. I'm a bad person.
In some ways, it's not your fault. The game name does say Luminous versus.
I know, right? I'm sitting here
which is not really.
What we're doing.
It's not our fault, guys. Okay, it's not our fault. Blame the person who made the game. Blame the person who put the game name as Luminous.
I'm not saying it's an apology for me calling them the wrong name on stream. It's just not happening. You can't make me do it. I think the last time I ended up streaming, singing on stream, I went back and watched the VoDs, and the first thing I did was delete them before they could get uploaded. I'm terrible, but blue team deciding to first pick this Caitlyn after banning out Thresh, Twisted Fate, and Shen, some fairly typical bans that we see here in this tournament, more so the Twisted Fate and Shen regularly taken off the board to deny that global control to really either team that it generally is just unfavorable, turning any situation from a 1v1 to a 1v3 or a 2v2 to a 4v2 is just not anything that's fun.
Indeed. So, let's say, based on the fact that they've managed to take out that global map presence, they are not really going to be afraid of anything of that sort that's going to go down. However, we are seeing from the red team the Jarvan and the Sona pickups. Hopefully we'll see a Jarvan jungle this time rather than the Jarvan top lane we saw last game. Jarvan seems to work more effectively in the jungle, I think, than in a lane, just because he has those stronger ganks, the stronger jungle clear, and he's just all-round a better jungler than he is a lane person. We already see now that we've got the Volibear and the Lulu pickup as well for the blue team. We seem to see Lulu Caitlyn being picked up again by Lunets Empire.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but lane person is probably the best description I've ever heard for a top laner. Oh, Jarvan, you're just not a good lane person. I'm sorry.
You're not a good lane person. You go back to your jungle.
Exactly.
That's where you belong.
No, I mean, Jarvan is an excellent pick. You see a Mumu not being taken out on the bans here, so Jarvan is an excellent pickup because he can provide that AoE crowd control. In a very similar vein to a Mumu, but his early ganks are a lot stronger, and he has the ability to put out quite a bit more damage than a Mumu does. So Jarvan's a really good pick if you're looking for a CC or an AoE-oriented comp, which is something we can see here because a Sona pick has been locked in. And oh, Draven Sona is a really scary lane in the early game. I would fear for the blue team if they decide to lock that in instead of the Tristana.
They seem to have also locked, they seem to be hovering over Jace as well, and that's going to really fit into a lot of the singling out of targets. But it seems they're switching up Draven to Tristana, which is going to go more into the AoE sort of builds of team comps, just because of the fact that she has that damage not only to one person, but to many, if she gets the final hit on either champion or even a creep.
Yep, and now we see that Tristana being locked in as well, so there's certainly a lot of AoE damage coming out from the purple team right now. That Jace has a lot of heavy poke as well, which is something that the blue team is going to have to be cautious of. Taking those shock blasts through the acceleration gate not only makes them harder to dodge, but they're just so potent in terms of poke. Now the blue team, they do have their final roster locked in. Caitlyn, Nasus, Lulu, Rumble, and Ahri. Ahri is an interesting pick because it's not a champion that we see regularly in terms of tournament play. I mean, it's not that she's a bad champion, and she's fine to pick in solo queues. She's not underpowered by any means, but she doesn't necessarily have the best spot in a 5v5 setting where you're working actively with other people. Because I can totally form thoughts together coherently. But hopefully, what's up?
I was getting a little bit giddy then because I was seeing Xerath being hovered over. I'm like, am I going to see Xerath in a meta game? Oh my god, that's going to be so amazing. But no, they're hovering over Orianna and Syndra instead. It's going to make me a little bit sad face.
I should be embarrassed as a caster because apparently I don't watch LCS where... Hang on a second. Where apparently Ahri is picked a lot, so I'll go ahead and eat my own words here and say that Ahri's picked regularly. I seem to be munching on words more than salad, so there's that. But you know, if that is the case, then I can completely understand why. Ahri is an assassin with an ability to put out quite a bit of damage. You know, she's got great repositioning skills, and the true damage that's coming out from her orb on the return back should be nice. We'll have to see. You know, Rumble's gonna be a huge engager with his ultimate, so it'll be fun to see what he's able to do with that equalizer, and of course, getting Nasus into the late game is going to be the biggest part.
Absolutely. If they can pretty much do a whole late game situation where they get the Nasus fed up with his siphoning strike, and if they basically utilize the whole perspective of Caitlyn getting fed again, if they do the same tactic they did last time where they switch the lanes again, it could mean difficult choice for the red team again if they do that, but we'll only have to see as we now go straight into the delay timer. Some of the blockers will be coming down right now, so we can begin seeing what they've got.
Alright, and now that we have the summoners coming down, we are going to see Nasus and Jarvan both in the jungle. It's going to be a fun matchup. Like I said, Nasus' jungle, it's a little bit slow, it's very easy going, you know. He's not going to have as much of a concentration on ganks, whereas Jarvan, he's going to be looking to gank a lot more in that early game. He's really going to have a focus on mid before Ahri hits level 6 and has that mobility. He's going to have a focus on the bot lane because Sona is exceptionally squishy, and Tristana doesn't have that early game range.
No. Tristana works a lot better towards the late game when her range is a little bit better, and but she does have that disengage with that jump, so maybe it might be a bit better for her in that regard, but it totally depends on what the blue team is going to pick for this one, if they're going to do that lane swap again, as we saw in the last game. If they do that again, I think they may be able to have a little bit of a push on the other team. However, we will not really know until we actually get into the game and see what's going on.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. We are 1 minute and 20 seconds into the delay right now. As we can see, looking at these team comps, there's going to be a lot of AoE, really team fight focus here, and it's going to be a lot more in the late game. You know, they've got a Nasus who's going to be looking for that late game carry potential. You've got a Tristana who doesn't have the range, she doesn't have the damage until she really hits that late game. She's in a really interesting spot. Her early game damage is pretty nice, but once she hits that mid game, she falls off a little bit if she doesn't manage to pick up early kills. And then she picks up again come the late game and is known as a hyper carry there. So it'll be something interesting to see. And Syndra really reaches her burst potential in the end game as well. And I can imagine that they'll be able to isolate this Ahri or this Caitlyn very well if they play it correctly and just absolutely bust them down, take out all of their health with no problem whatsoever.
So, let's say, based on the fact that what you just said, if I make some predictions right now, Syndra could possibly beat up Ahri in that mid lane if Ahri does not careful. She does have that burst potential where she can do quite a lot of damage in a single space amount of time, especially with that ultimate of hers. throwing down onto that Ahri in the top lane. If they don't do the lane swap and it's Jace versus Rumble, I think Rumble's going to be a little bit of an annoyance for Jace, but Jace has that a bit more poke than the Rumble and can keep his distance away from that Flame Spitter, away from a lot of the damage that Rumble can provide. So Jace probably in the better position than Rumble in that regard. However, if they do the lane swap, I think Caitlyn and what is it? Oh, I'm trying to remember this one. Sorry, Caitlyn and Lulu. God, Jesus, what's wrong with me today? They may be a bit better effective against that Jace, just because they have that poke. And if they push up that lane again, it's gonna really be pretty harsh for the red team again.
That was so coherent, Mystery. I can't believe it. Like I said, it's my day. It's my day to pick on casters, okay? I have to cast the whole thing. I get to be grumpy and make fun of all of you.
Thanks.
But it looks
Love
like
you too.
Yeah, I know, right? Totally best boss NA, so... But we are getting through this loading screen now and gonna be getting into this game momentarily. It'll be interesting to see what really happens in the first couple minutes of the game, simply because we've seen a lot of invades going on through this tournament. I don't think we've had a game yet where we haven't seen an invade coming out.
Pretty much. It's always really been, I think, the red team that's always done the invade, and it's pretty much always the same thing that happens. The invade never goes quite to plan, and basically, well, from what the games I've seen, the last 2 games I've seen where the invade has gone down, it hasn't really gone to plan, and no kills are provided from that, and it basically causes the other team to be behind because of it. So, if we see an invade this time, I'd like to see it work. Maybe they can do something about that, maybe make it better, but it all comes down to what we see on the map. Also, for skin intimidation wise, Wicked Lulu and Foxfire Ahri already being a great intimidation. However, only
I told you, Wicked
Debonair.
It's not a good skin for Lulu. I own all of them. I know.
Whereas on the red team, we can see Debonair Jace, the man of Valentine's, with his firefighter Tristana, prepared to put out any fires that goes down. Will she put out this Foxfire Ahri? I don't know.
Really?
Oh, come on, it was perfectly set up.
You are terrible with the puns. Oh god, I hate you so much right now. Best puns NA? Jesus, man, what is your problem?
I didn't say best puns NA, I just said best puns. If I said best puns NA, I would probably get a shout down my throat because I don't have best puns NA.
Good. And now we just have fairly standard jungle starts. Now we did see a ward come out at the race for the part of the red team, and as well as that Tribe Rush, wanting to keep as much vision as possible. We can see everybody going for a fairly standard start here. Double golems being picked up by Caitlyn and Lulu, wanting to go for that early level 2 advantage. The problem that might come from this is the fact that Sona's going to have a lot of poke in this level 1, and that's not going to be something fun to deal with after taking that damage from the golems.
Nope. And let's say based on that, we do see that there was a smiteless blue for the Jarvan there. Jarvan pretty much kind of have his smite prepared for, I believe, his red buff. However, the blue team did take his wraiths earlier on, I think, so that's going to cause problems for that Jarvan as he finds out that his wraiths aren't really there.
And you can see Caitlyn now down below half health after taking a power cord right to the face. She's got that early level 2, so she's going to be able to pick up her 90 caliber net here for some disengaging. You can see her doing that just now as Sona tries to come in for some poke. A nice shield by Lulu is going to help to deaden quite a bit of that damage, but we can still see she's getting down very low and not starting out with a longsword 2 pots build. She's not really going to have too much sustain, only coming out from that Doran's right now. You can see her getting caught in that trap, and there's the first blood coming out from Lulu, and now it's on for Tristana as the barrier is popped, and that will be a 2-for-0 exchange in the bot lane. Caitlyn managing to pick up a kill, and Lulu gonna take that first blood gold. Despite the fact that Lulu's a support right now, so first blood gold not always the best on her, she is gonna be able to make good use of it, either rushing that Philo stone or rushing a sight stone, which is gonna help really just keep her gold count really high. She's gonna be able to have just a really nice build in the early game.
I like that the fact that this Jarvan is staying in the top lane right now. Okay, it's going to cause him some problems. Here we go.
Yeah, Nass is coming up, and Jarvan's coming in, and we can see the Ignite going down onto Rumble, the Flash, and they will manage to pick up the kill. Jarvan now backing off with Jace, and Nass is just kind of forced to farm the lane alone.
It was really perfectly well. Jarvan staying for quite a while, might have been considered a little bit under good there, just for the simple fact that he did stay quite a while to be able to do that, but it did eventually come out great in the end. They didn't know he was there. He stayed longer than anyone really intended him to stay, but it all went good in the end. It managed to pick him up a kill on that Rumble and put Jace ahead.
Yep, and now we can see with that extra kill, he's just going to go ahead and pressure this lane before returning to base in the mid lane. Rather, not the bot lane. We do see a little bit of trades going back and forth, but Ahri, a very mobile champion, she's kind of able to walk around these spheres. She's not in the same position that we saw Ryze in the last game against a Syndra, rather, where she was having a lot of problems being mobile versus those dark spears. And now in the bot lane, we see a lot of poke going back down on to this Caitlyn, who's just returning to farming, and quite well, I have to say. She's got a 10 CS advantage right now, but in the mid lane, we have that charm. It is not going to land. The return coming from that Orb of Deception and the true damage as Syndra is forced to flash out.
Good choice of flash there by Syndra there, though I'm not sure if she would be able to walk out of that alive or not. Basically, flash is your tool to be is your kind of, I like to call it the oh god button. The button that basically goes, oh god, I'm gonna die. So you use it to get away as quick as possible. It's your last resort button. If you can get away without it, that's great. That's probably better. But if you really can't, if you really need it, that's your oh god, need to get out of here button. So utilizing that is gonna keep Syndra alive a bit longer. However, with it being down for the amount of time it is, it's gonna put Syndra on the defensive stance right now.
Yeah, and we see Sona and Tristana being forced to back off a little bit here, have to be really cautious right now, but the ping's coming down, they know Jarvan is here, and Sona and Tristana not really able to follow up on this. Jarvan is gonna kind of be forced to disengage from this gank while Caitlyn continues to pressure this lane and further extend the CS advantage.
Absolutely, absolutely. Whereas in the mid lane, we can already see that Ahri's creeps have pushed up to that tower. She has now got that level 6 compared to Syndra, who's still only got level 5. It does mean that she can start running around and being a nuisance. Oh god,
yeah,
here we go.
See Nass is coming up here, and there we go. The stun has gone out, but Ahri coming in, using all 3 charges of her ults to very cleanly pick up that kill, and Syndra will fall in return. Unfortunately, being level 5, not having that damage potential that she really needed onto Ahri to go for an Ignite ultimate combo. You know, that stun went off, but it just wasn't enough for her to disengage without that flash.
Having that oh god button basically be taken away from her, she was basically, all she was doing is really just warding, and because of that it really put her in a bad spot against the Nasus. She could have really retreated any other way, but with that Wither, Nasus managed to be able to slow her down just enough so that Ahri can pick up that first kill, also that kill over there, considering everything that is going on right now.
Yeah,
sadly,
she's got the charges of her Spirit Rush as well as Foxfire. All make for a really potent damage combination. Even with minions around, it's going to prioritize the champions over anything. So with no one else around, unfortunately, this poor Syndra just took a huge brunt of damage that she wasn't really able to handle. You know, Syndra's still a very squishy champion. That's a one downside to her. Despite all the burst potential she really has, she's still a very frail champion.
Absolutely. And because of the fact of how frail she is, it does mean that she isn't really the sort of champion you want to be up and front and close and personal with. Ahri can take a little bit more damage compared to Syndra, I think, just because Ahri has that potential to be a little bit more tankier. She did see that Nasus coming though, and she can back away. Nice ultimate there, and there goes the Ignite. Oh, and it will mean a kill for that Syndra as well.
Yeah, the help from the little bit of last damage that the minions put down, plus that Ignite tick, managed to seal that deal for her, and this is exactly what she needed. You know, we talked about the insta-get potential from Syndra, so you can see it even coming out as level 6 with that ultimate and Ignite combo, but this is going to be really potent come the late game when you see all of that damage put down onto Tristana.
That was pretty much what Syndra needed right there, and in every regard, without having that level 6 when she did, I think it would have been another fail for her. She would have had to back off, but just because she popped level 6 at that point, she did manage to get all that damage onto that Nasus, and as we said, that was pretty much what she needed to be able to keep up with this Ahri in the mid lane.
And now we can see Ahri just pressuring this right now. She wants to go in and get this tower down, but you can see quite a bit of damage coming out from that Orb of Deception and Foxfire combo yet again. And Syndra also returning it with a Dark Sphere. The one thing that Ahri has up on her right now, aside from the fact that her ultimate is up as well as Flash, she has got the lifesteal coming out from her passive, which is going to be very helpful for keeping in the lane and having that extra sustain. You can see her going in with that Spirit Rush now, and that is all she needed. And Jace in the top lane, that Equalizer going down is not going to be enough as those Electro Harpoons come out, and Jace will easily fall there. Now, unfortunately for Syndra, Ahri just having a lot of potential for that assassination damage. You know, she came in immediately, that Orb of Deception, Foxfire combo. The moment she landed a charm, she was able to catch her out and just say, you know what, I'm going to go in with my ulti and make sure that you have absolutely nowhere to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a very strong combo indeed. Ahri is one of those really good champions that she can just engage and disengage with that ultimate. And that ultimate does have a pretty low cooldown already. It's down to halfway done. So pretty much she can utilize it as much as possible, especially if she has a little bit of cooldown reduction, which is what some APs choose to have. It means her ultimate can be down quickly as possible so that she can use it again to disengage if she needs to.
You can see Syndra and Jarvan coming in here. The ultimate coming out from Syndra and Jarvan will manage to pick up that kill. Absolutely that Gip potential coming out from Syndra yet again, and we're going to see a lot of kills like this traded off back and forth in this mid lane for exactly this reason. Both of these champions have very high burst potential, and it's a matter of who engages first and who really has the cooldowns. So for that last fight, we saw that not only did Syndra not have her ultimate, but she also didn't have her flash up, and now with her flash back up, she's going to have a better potential to go ahead and get out of these engagements cleanly. Meanwhile, Ahri, she's got that ultimate up, she's got her flash up, she's got her ignite up, and she's just going to be looking to get a kill down on it to this Syndra as quickly as possible. Syndra, when her flash is down, she's got to be really careful about not overextending from her turret. It's just going to cause her so many problems.
I have to agree entirely. Syndra doesn't really have the best disengage in this game. The only real disengage she has is that stun of hers, being able to push an enemy away from her. However, if the Nasus is coming from the position that he has been coming from a lot, which is that top jungle pathway at the top there,
and here we go,
it puts
in the
Syndra
top
in a bad
lane, the
position.
Equalizer going down, followed by the flash, but it may not be enough here. And there is the Cataclysm, and this will net the kill as Jace picks that up for an easy 300 gold.
That was a shutdown bonus as well. No, it wasn't a shutdown bonus. Screw me. Sorry.
And now we've got Nasus coming into the top lane. Jarvan going in for the knockup to try and keep them away, but unfortunately, that Spirit Rush from Ahri, followed by the Orb of Deception, just a little bit too strong, and that will be a double kill, but she's forced to flash out now, because here is the Syndra, and there we go, the flash stun combo, more than enough to take care of her, and there's the ultimate going down, and that will land the double kill for Syndra.
Nicely done there by Syndra, utilizing all of her abilities to pick up that kill, or in fact double kill. First kill on the Ahri there. Lovely placement of the ball into the stun right there to pick up a first kill. Brilliant use of the skills, especially when she then used the ignite and the ultimate of Scatter the Weak, not Scatter the Weak, sorry, Unleashed Power to pick up that second kill.
Yeah, but now you can see Jarvan responding, unfortunately, to this blue steal a little too late, as Caitlyn is able to pick this up, and it's going to give her even more pushing power. She's going to spam Pelt over Peacemaker as much as possible, not only for the poke, but clearing out those minion waves as well.
Tristana just going to farm in the bot lane right now, quite content on farming up creeps. That explosive shot really going to help her as well. The fact that when she gets the last hit, that shot scatters onto other creeps as well, helping her get more last hits than her opponent. It does mean that, okay, she's a little bit behind. In fact, wow, she's really far behind this Caitlyn right now, but that explosive shot is going to help her farm back up quite quickly.
Well, it's always important to keep in mind that Caitlyn is a very easy farm champion. You know, she's got a lot of range on her. Piltover Peacemaker is great for clearing out minions. And she's able to farm safely from a very wide distance. Like, she's got all the range she needs, especially over this Tristana and this Sona, who aren't really able to effectively poke right now. And you can see Ahri coming in here. The stun has gone out from Syndra, but the Spirit Rush is down, and the Foxfire may manage to clean her up, and there we go. The one-for-one exchange is Syndra and Ahri managed to exchange kills right there. The assist going to Jarvan.
Nice counter engagement there by Jarvan. Syndra knew she was pretty much done for. Jarvan coming straight in there to help the Syndra. Syndra seeing that Jarvan was coming to help, so uses her ultimate and uses that counter engage on that Ahri to basically say, right, if I'm going down, you're going to come down with me. And that was really nicely done by the Syndra there.
Yeah.
So, a couple of pings going down in the top lane right now, a couple of question marks basically saying, where is the other person? I don't really see him right now, but it does seem like they know where each other are right now. There's a lot of different types of stuff going down right now. Rumble's using his harpoons to do a lot of poke onto that Jace. Jace is going to just back off for now and then use his...
And now Jarvan coming in, but the Polymorph going down, followed by an excellent Glitter Lance. May manage to keep this Caitlyn safe. She's going to go ahead and flash, but the Equalizer coming out in the top lane, followed by Nasty is unfortunately taking turret damage, but it will not be enough to take him out as Rumble picks up that kill.
Nicely done there by Rumble.
Oh no,
you're coming in straight with the Equalizer.
Up, and this is scary. And there she goes, and oh, are we going to see a kill here? Yes, that ultimate coming out as Syndra goes to retreat back to her turret. She is going to be in a world of pain right here as Rumble looks to potentially come in. Syndra has to set up some orbs for some stuns. It looks like Ahri's just going to come up here, get the easy pick off, and then return. We really see, like I said, Ahri and Syndra are going to be exchanging kills like this all game, and that's all that's going to happen. The only difference here is the fact that Ahri's ultimate is on a lower cooldown than Syndra's, so she's got the potential to do a little more than she does right now because she's pretty much coming in, and as you can see right now against this poor Jarvan, she could just come in and do really whatever she wants. Rumble managing to pick up that kill there, and Ahri having the mobility to get out from under that turret and out of Jarvan's Cataclysm.
Nice use of the Spirit Rush there by Ahri, using it pretty much basically waiting for that Cataclysm to come down and then putting Jarvan in a difficult spot where he is pretty much stuck in his own Cataclysm as she Spirit Rushed out of it, letting Rumble to pick up that easy kill.
Yeah, and now we are seeing this bot lane go down. A lot of heavy poke being pelted out by this Caitlyn and Lulu combo right now. The slow is just absolutely devastating at this point. 90 caliber net into Piltover Peacemaker, but the crescendo has gone down, and here we go. That ultimate coming out, and followed by the ultimate on Caitlyn will manage to take Sona within just a couple of health of dying. Jarvan coming up here to try and respond to this, but his Cataclysm is down. Syndra coming up here as well, and there we go. The Ignite and full combo from her ultimate is down, and she's going to manage to pick up that kill.
Nicely done by Syndra there, using that unleashed power to its full effect along with that Ignite, bringing down a lot of enemies very, very quickly. We said this before,
oh, no,
Syndra has a lot of...
for that kill exchange, she's going to come up here, and Nas says no. Ahri's going to manage to net that kill with an auto attack, and nobody was surprised as these two just continue to go, hey, you get a kill, I get a kill, we both get fed, let's see what happens in the late game.
I find that Ahri and Syndra are very balanced, or very well evenly matched. As we said, they seem to be exchanging kills between each other quite a lot of the time. Just the fact that Ahri picks up a kill, then Syndra, then Ahri. very back and forth a lot of the time in these engagements. We can see in the top lane, Ari looking to pick on this Jace right now.
Yeah, an excellent point being made, saying the only reason that there's so many kills this game is because there's a lack of ward coverage. And this is actually, you know, that's actually a really good point. We're not seeing a lot of ward coverage right now. There's no wards coming out from the top lane. Jace doesn't know that Ari is here and really just has to kind of prepare his fanny at this point as a Spirit Rush and Orb of Deception come out. So Jace going to be a little bit fanny flustered from that one as Tristana goes and helps Syndra take blue buff.
Fanny flustered, really.
It's the best word for butthurt ever.
Fanny flustered, wow.
It is the best word.
Just wow.
It's the best word for butthurt ever. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to know. It's my word and it's the best word, okay?
If you say so. Back to the game, we can already see that the bottom lane and the tower has pretty much gone down now. Pretty much 1 minute till the 20-minute surrender time. Having a review of the gold and towers, we can see the blue team is ahead with 3 towers compared to the red team's none. They are 6k, sort of 6k, 7k ahead right now, and a nice 4 kills ahead. That's going to pretty much put them in a very nice position to be able to do a lot, but it still means it can go either way. The red team can still come back from this. They still do have quite a bit of utility between them. Syndra is still quite fed herself compared to Ari. Ari is also quite fed. As we said before, both of them have good back and forth motions between them.
And now we will see the red team grouping up here around the dragon, getting ready to come in here and take it. They do have it pinked right now, and a little bit of poke coming out from Syndra and Jace to try and essentially make the blue team think twice on this. But Ari is a little bit out of position here, luckily having both her flash and that Spirit Rush up, so she's not going to have a problem. I don't know if the red team knows that this is warded, and a nice chunk of damage going down onto Ari. Syndra staying far enough away that she's not going to get hit by that Foxfire. Nice stun going down onto that Rumble, who's going to take yet another chunk of damage. The Crescendo going out. Nasus popping his ultimate. There's the Equalizer. And Ari coming in, jumping around, trying to do as much damage as possible. Sona will fall. Rumble picking up the double kill. And Syndra left by herself as there's the ultimate from Caitlyn to pick up the ace.
Very nicely done there. Syndra thought she was safe. However, there was sight still on her because of those blue creeps, which does mean that Caitlyn could pick her up with that wonderful snipe there. They're pretty much now going to get 2 towers out of this, first and 8, as well as that ace. It's really now down to the blue team is pretty much in a good position right now. They've got 2 more turrets that puts them at a 5 turret lead. They're now pretty much coming up to 9k ahead. They've got 8 kills ahead of the red team, and they've now got a dragon on top of that, which boosts their gold to 10k. If they go any further up, they could go to the 10k of no return, 10k plus of no return. We'll just have to see if the red team can pull out anything from their sleeves to be able to counter this.
I just realized I'm gonna hate today because after I gotten done casting for like a good 5 to 6 hours, I have to go work out for an hour, and that's gonna be lots of fun. So oh god, today is not gonna be a fun day for me. Random thought while we continue on in this match. But yeah, this is a huge gold advantage on the part of the blue team right now. They've got all the map control, despite the fact that, you know, they weren't heavily warded just a couple minutes ago, but now we see everybody just cranking out the wards, saying, you know what, we don't want to give Syndra and we don't want to give Ari any excuse to manage to pick off anybody, so we need to go ahead and start warding up our objectives properly and warding up our lanes. But Jace could be in a bit of trouble here. He's backing off. So a good call on his part. Any chance to pursue that farm would have surely ended him in a death by the hands of Ari.
I think he kind of sensed that Ari was coming up as well. He just kind of felt that vibe of bad taste He's already found himself. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, Sona getting caught out here. A nice charm being landed, and the crescendo being forced out. And there we go, an excellent stun on the part of Ahri. Despite that, ooh, a very nice ultimate by this poor Lulu will manage to keep her alive just long enough to take out Syndra. No, that was unfortunate. She just got collapsed on, but still a 1-for-2 exchange in the favor yet again of the blue team.
Sona Sona pretty much found that she was almost safe there, but Nasus did manage to grab her and get that siphoning strike on her when he did. The fact that Ahri basically stayed as long as she could to pick up that Syndra kill was just enough. Even Syndra popping that, I think it was, I thought there was a shield definitely around Syndra there, so obviously someone has a locket to pop that off, do they? Yeah, that was a locket used by the Jarvan there to save.
Coming out, and now Nasus coming in. He will manage to pick off that kill, and Sona being forced to retreat with Syndra. Nasus just going to return to the jungle. The biggest issue that's kind of happened here is the fact that there's, again, not enough ward coverage, but one of the interesting things that I always like to point out is ward coverage is generally a good indicator of where each team is in the game right now. And you can see that the red team is being forced to ward up their own jungle, even if they're not warding up a lot of it. You can see that the primary location of their wards is in their own jungle, whereas the red team, the blue team rather, is warding very aggressively. They're putting wards all up in the jungle. They've got buff control right now. They've got trap set down. They've got control over the red buff. They've got control over Baron right now in terms of vision. And a lot of this comes down to towers. With the towers out, they can very safely come in here. So you see Sona buying a lot of pink wards right now, putting them down and clearing out the blue team's coverage, which is them trying to get a little bit of map control back.
That's pretty much what they're gonna have to do if they're going to even try and remotely get through this.
Yeah,
Syndra coming in to take on the Caitlyn.
On the Caitlyn, the barrier has been popped, but it will not be enough, and that will easily be a kill for Jarvan. Syndra forced to back off after nearly dying there.
Syndra's been having a few problems with this quite a lot recently, just for the simple fact of she's really, really squishy. In fact, I don't really see. The only really defensive item I can see on her right now is the Magic Resist Negatron Cloak coming in, probably to defect against the Rumble's damage as well as the Ahri's damage, but she doesn't really have any defense against the Caitlyn except for that Doran's ring.
Ooh, and there's the pause coming up, but more importantly than the Negatron Cloak just being there to go ahead and deaden the damage of that Rumble. You see she's got the Blasting Wand as well. She's building into an Abyssal Scepter. She's got to be close enough in a team fight to get onto that Caitlyn, and lowering the magic resist of the enemy team is going to help out a lot, especially with those dark spheres coming out as well as her stun. It's going to do quite a bit of AoE damage, even though she's going to be focusing on the single target coming down onto Caitlyn or Ahri right now. I would say probably Ahri, simply because she's very fed at this point in the game, sitting with just about half of her team's kills right now, and is quite farmed. You can see she's got a Rylai's as well as that Negatron Cloak coming out. She's building into the potential Zhonya's as well as having a Lich Bane, so she's quite fed, looking at getting rather tanky for just an AP assassin carry right now, compared to the Syndra, who's easily going to be gibbed come this game. And now we are going to have a slight stutter in the video as we use jump to live. Once this is unpaused, there is no lag on the stream, ladies and gentlemen. This is just the game not being synced up with the pauses, which is awesome, and I wish Riot would do something about.
We will get back into live in just a moment. I think I'm pretty much in the live now. I'm only like a second behind though, so we can already see
Syndra being taken down here. An unfortunate stun coming out far too late, as Ahri is able to pick up this kill without even thinking. Her ultimate is down now though. Syndra's just barely coming up here, and unfortunately a flash not going to be able to help here. And now it looks like Nasus and Lulu are going to go ahead and take on Baron by themselves for a little bit. Rumble coming up to help, and now finally Ahri. We do see some pings coming down Red team is aware that this Baron is being taken. That standard going over the wall as Nasus pops his ultimate to better soak up the damage coming out. And here we go, Ahri picking that up, and there's the stun coming out. The charm from Ahri will manage to lock up Jarvan long enough for Rumble to pick up that kill. And oh, how unfortunate is that? Ahri got the kill on Baron. Neither of the junglers picked that up.
Wow, that means that even though Jarvan was pretty much there, he did not get that smite steal. In fact, he pretty much helped them, I think, as smite is now down for him. It's on that cooldown, so he must have used it in that Baron engagement, but it just wasn't enough.
Poor Syndra getting the equalizer sent down onto her. She's taken a huge chunk of damage and essentially been isolated by this fight. The crescendo being forced down onto one person here, and there we go. There's the ultimate from Lulu coming down. Sona will go ahead and fall here. Tristana in a world of pain as Caitlyn manages to pick that up, and Rumble is just going to go ahead and get out of here now. Syndra coming in. She knows she's got the damage potential. She will manage to take out Caitlyn, but Jarvan is going to fall in the process. And now Syndra being forced to back off. Unfortunately, that Dark Sphere not picking her up. And now Rumble coming in for the flash Flame Spitter, and that will be enough. But in return, Jace rather, will fall as well in the ace. That is a 2-for-5 exchange once again in the favor of the blue team, and now they're going to be able to very heavily pressure this turret for the Nexus, and yet another one. Sona has come back up now, but I don't think she's really going to have the defensive potential on her own. And there's the flash charm. It will go ahead and miss right now. And there is the slow. She's going to have to flash to get out of here. And Sona being forced back now as Lulu and Ahri are going to just mosey on out of there momentarily after whomping down some more damage onto that turret.
They are in a really good spot right now. They did almost get that second inhibitor turret. Nasus picking up the dragon pretty much on his own to get them a bit more gold, whereas Ahri and Lulu doing a ton hell of damage onto those inhibitor turrets. That inhibitor turret is going to be regenerating health now, however, rather than sit there and be as damaged as it is. So if they want to kick that turret down, they need to do it quite soon, else it will be back up to full health soon. However, they did put a significant damage on that when they did, which is a good part on them.
Yeah, but now we have Lulu picking up a Locket of the Iron Solari, wanting to go ahead and give that shielding potential to her team. You know, she's concentrating on using that ultimate as a save rather than an engage, which is great because her team already has all the engage potential that they need. So she's using it solely to go ahead and save her teammates, keep them alive as long as possible. And now we've got Ahri. You can see her coming out with this Zanya. She's working on building an Abyssal now. She's got armor, she's got MR, she's got health coming out from that Ryze. She's just in such a good position right now. She's very defensive and very tanky. Even as an assassin, she's able to put out a phenomenal amount of damage. And you can see her retaining that Baron buff with Nasus. It's just going to be so rough for her.
Absolutely, there's still 3 people on the blue team that have Baron buff. In fact, here she goes, utilizing it.
She is going to fall here before she can get any damage down. That crescendo not managing to lock up the exceptionally mobile Ahri, and there we go. That ultimate from Lulu just being used to disengage, and now, oh my god, a nice pushback by Tristana, an excellent ultimate, but the GG's coming out here. And there we go, Tristana coming in solely to die. She's not able to take him out, and there we go. There is the final kill. That is going to be the ace thanks to the equalizer coming out from Rumble. And they will go ahead and take this game. Lunet's Empire actually going into the final round here. That will conclude the semifinals of the TowerDiveTV Weekly number 25. So bear with us for just a moment, guys, as we go ahead and get you into the final game. I believe it will be Cryptic versus Lunet's Empire, and I'm sorry, but I'm biased, and I hope Lunet's Empire wins because apparently Lunet's army went ahead and stepped out of the tournament to let Lunet's Empire enter and essentially get them all of the tournament goodies that they wanted. So that was really nice of them, but also really cool because like I have multiple teams in this tournament now named after me. So clearly it's a curse of good luck here.